Avishag, you've written a story, Roots, about a girl who thinks she knows everything about her family and discovers more and more secrets when researching her family history for her school Roots project.
Yes, when I did my Roots project last year, I started hearing stories from my grandparents that I couldn't believe. How my grandmother worked in a factory and got shot in the leg by accident.
Shot in the leg? And this one, the transit camp of stories, this was your award-winning story in the ICEI Young Writers Competition.
Yes, this is about my family's aliyah from Iraq, the transit camps, the Rehovot.
So here are some excerpts from the transit camp of stories by Avishag Ben Arush. The transit camp of stories. It all started when I was sitting in the sofa in the lounge of their house, the most comfortable place for me, and playing with my mobile phone. My grandfather came over, touched me on the shoulder and said, "When I was a boy, there were no mobile phones, and we couldn't play with the things that you play with today. In the transit camp," he continued, "we played and made dolls and soccer balls out of old newspapers." "What's a transit camp?" I asked with curiosity. "It's the place where the immigrants lived who came to Israel from different countries when the state of Israel was established. Everyone knew everybody else there because it was a very small population. I'll tell you a story about my time in the transit camp when I was a young and starving boy." "Why starving?" I asked worriedly. "Because in the transit camp, they didn't give us a lot of food. For supper, they gave us tea and biscuits for the whole family. And when you had to go to the bathroom, you had to go outside and walk in the mud because there were no toilets there. Everything was flooded in the cold winters." And then you close your story with, "When I heard my grandfather's sad story, my eyes filled with tears, and I was filled with sorrow. I felt that my grandfather was a courageous man, because he and his family experienced many hardships. I imagined myself having to go through those hardships. What would I have done? Would I have managed? It was hard for me to imagine. Ever since, when I learn about the transit camps in my Jewish heritage lessons, I get teary-eyed, and I remember my grandfather's story. I love my grandfather, and I'll always love him. I admire him for his strength. I think that the fact that he went through hardships prepared him for other difficult situations. My grandfather and grandmother are role models for their strength and for the part they played in building the country. Grandpa Avraham and Grandma Rosa, I dedicate this story to you with love." Avishag, your writing and your narrative relating your grandparents' experiences are so powerful. How did your family react when they read your writing?
My grandfather was really excited that I wrote it. The experience in the transit camps stays with you for life.
And how did it feel to win the ICEI Young Writers Competition?
I was so excited, it was so surprised. When they called me to the stage and after, then I asked my teachers who were with me at the ceremony if it's just a dream or really happened. It was a surprise.
So let's tie this conversation all together. Do you feel like your love of reading and writing has helped you at all in other parts of your life, Maayan?
Reading and writing has always helped me in school, especially on tests.
Avishag?
Yes, I think it's important to express ourselves. Writing and sharing stories has helped me understand better my family journey. Writing has helped me in the future and has helped me now.
Maayan, Avishag, I want to ask you one final question. What advice would you give to someone else in your situation, either about writing, finding inspiration in the world around you, or being a leader in your community? Maayan?
Don't be afraid to take chances and have a new experience. There's a saying which I really like. רק מי שלוקח סיכון והולך רחוק, מגלה עד כמה רחוק הוא יכול להגיע.
Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. That's a quote from the poet T.S. Eliot. Thanks, Maayan. Avishag?
If you believe in yourself, people will believe in you. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams and you will succeed.